dip, dip, dip. Cheryl, the seats are right up here.
Oh yeah, your birthday was yesterday. It was. Many happy returns. Good to see you.
Catching it in a breeze. Bring it up.
Yes. Yes. Okay, great. Very great. Oh, nice. Nice.
Bringing up the main PA. Main mic sign. Yeah. No. Oh, yeah. In the front? Right. Right. I can. If we play well, don't applaud. Fan. Get a piece of paper. Thank you for coming.
Okay.
Good outfit for this. I want to hear it. Oh, you keep saying that. I haven't heard any piano music.
So what do you say we get this party started? All right. So good evening, and welcome to the Church of the Incarnation. I'm Deacon Denise Levitt, and I'm one of the clergy here. I'm happy to welcome you here this evening. Wonderful to see you all here. It's a good thing we got these three cool guys on such a hot night, right? And hello to everyone watching online as well. It's going to be a great evening. This benefit concert is on behalf of Our Children, an organization that is dedicated to helping incarcerated and formerly incarcerated mothers and their children. Now, Incarnation has been involved with Our Children for the past 3 years. We've had drives for canned goods, children's clothing, baby clothes, diapers, and wet naps, and we've procured donations of larger, gently used baby items such as playpens, and there's currently a bassinet I'm trying to get someone to bring over there. Our 20s and 30s group had a service day working at the Our Children food pantry. We hosted a picnic on Roosevelt Island last summer where the children played games and sports, and we all engaged in a wonderful barbecue with no other than Dana from the Doc Wallace Trio as our grill master. Dana then played the ukulele, was it? Was this? Okay, good. And led us all, kids and adults, in a sing-along. And so we're going to hear more about the Our Children organization at intermission. So I just want to point out another important item. You'll see in your brochure that children from Our Children have had opportunities to attend Incarnation Camp in Connecticut, and we want to continue to be able to support this. Incarnation Camp is a traditional summer camp, hundreds of acres of woods and around a mile-long lake. It's an amazing and life-changing experience for the children, and we're asking you to give special consideration tonight to making a donation towards this. Send a child to camp or help send a child to camp. More information and the link are in the brochure. So it's this orange-colored, I think it's orange brochure that is specifically for donations to send a child to Incarnation Camp. So please take a look at that. And now, get ready for an unforgettable evening of jazzy, Texas-style fiddle music and swing with the critically acclaimed Doc Wallace Trio. I haven't heard them yet, but what I already love about them is that they are musicians with a mission. From their first days as the Doc Wallace Trio, Doc Wallace, Daniel Levy, Dana Scofidio have performed and participated in benefits and fundraisers. A few of the organizations they've helped have included Environmental International, Red Bull Theater, the Lambs Church, and the New York Philharmonic. They performed concerts and held workshops in prisons and juvenile corrections facilities. They are Doc Wallace on the violin, or should I be saying fiddle? Dana okay, all right. Dana Scofidio, electric guitar, and Daniel Levy, acoustic guitar. I guess that's in case the electricity goes out too. CDs will be on sale at intermission, all proceeds to our children. And so now I invite you to relax, enjoy, dance if you must, the Doc Wallace Trio.
Thank you, everybody. Thank you for showing out, showing up, tuning in online. We're the Doc Wallace Trio. Thank you for coming. This is our first time playing together in public since the pandemic, and it feels good. And thank you for showing up for a good cause. When we released our first record, we decided to make the album Safety Orange and put a warning on it that said, "Warning, this music will make you happy." And that's kind of what this evening is about, is bringing happiness to all of us and a whole lot of other people too, thanks to your support for our children. Well, the music we play is music that comes from all over the world, but it's the music that I learned playing fiddle contests growing up in Texas. And so in Texas, fiddle contests are kind of a big deal. People come from all over the state and out of the state to show up and prove who's the best fiddler. And so in any fiddle contest, you play several rounds of a variety of tunes. A typical contest round, you play an up-tempo tune called a breakdown or hoedown. Then you play a waltz, which shows beautiful tone, phrasing, sensitivity, emotion, and things that cowboys have on the inside but don't necessarily show on the outside. And then the third tune can be a tune of choice, meaning it can be any tune other than a breakdown or a waltz, which could be a dance tune like a polka or a schottisch or a two-step. It could be a swing tune, a rag, or it could be a tune that you hear. Sometimes people would play things they heard on the radio or the television, and occasionally someone was known to make up a tune right there on the spot. And so this is also just kind of a good way to present the tunes in concert because it gives you variety. So we'll be presenting a number of rounds. The one thing that's different that you won't see in a Texas fiddle contest, you don't have electric guitar, but this is New York City, and we like electric guitar. The other thing is the guitars solo, because these guys are great rhythm players, but also great soloists. So yeah, you can give them a hand if you want. Another thing about the Texas Fiddle Contest, the audience is a lively, participatory audience. You applaud at the end of the solo. You can yell out or applaud if you hear anything you like it. So let's practice. Yeah, let's have a woo. Thank you, Reverend. Let's have it. Yeah. All right. And just a quick burst of applause. There you go. So the first round, Dana and I are going to trade off on a breakdown called Sally Johnson. Then we're going to play a waltz tune that actually comes from Canada. It's a waltz by a great Canadian fiddler named Frankie Rogers, and the waltz is called the Ukpik Waltz. Ukpik is the Inuit word for the snowy Arctic owl, so beautiful white owl camouflages. The Ukpik has kind of become a symbol of the Canadian environmentalist movement. And then for the tune of choice, we're going to do a fun little Texas swing tune called Craftin' Blues. All right, so Sally Johnson. I've said it before, and I'll say it again. Daniel Levy is one of the few people I know who can give me chills on a hot summer night. Daniel Levy on the acoustic.
All right, craft. Keep going, keep going. Yeah. All right.
Thank you. So we'll begin our next round with a tune inspired by nature. So many great pieces of music inspired by nature.
Fans.
Mountains, oceans, valleys. This happens to be the only tune in the world that I know of that was inspired by a corn husk. This is a tune called Shuck in the Bush. There was a dried old corn husk in a bush in Texas, and a fiddler heard the wind blowing it and kind of making this rustling noise, and he took his fiddle and started improvising and created this fiddle tune. It's one of the few fiddle tunes I know that uses a bouncing bow. For the waltz, I'm going to play a beautiful old bluegrass waltz popularized by Bill Monroe and his Bluegrass Boys and composed by their primary fiddler through the years, Kenny Baker, the festival waltz. And then we're going to play a schottisch for our tune of choice. This is called The Beautiful Girl Schottisch. And I don't know who wrote it, but I know we've got some classical music fans and classical musicians in the house, and I think you'll agree that whoever wrote it, she stole Debussy's The Girl with the Flaxen Hair. You'll hear that tune all over the place, but swung and danceable. All right, so nobody sued anybody. I mean, if nobody knows you wrote the tune, and besides, Debussy, that's been in the public domain a little while, so it's fair game. It's funny, a lot of times arrangers and composers will keep track of what just entered public domain, whether it's literature or songs, because then you can arrange and develop your own new multiverse based on The Wizard of Oz or whatever just happened to become into public domain. But that's a whole nother conversation for another time. Shuck in the Bush, Festival Waltz, and Beautiful Girl Schottish. Let's have some McCoy Tyner licks, Dana. Many of you probably recognize that as a good old New York Tin Pan Alley swing tune, Ain't Misbehavin' by Fats Waller, a great pianist, singer, songwriter, with some Texan harmonies that you may not have recognized. Well, we're going to do one more round in this first half, and we're going to do something we haven't done before, which is flip the order. So we're going to start with a tune of choice and finish with a breakdown, just to see what happens. We're going to be starting with a wonderful Texas swing tune popularized by the Bob Wills and the Texas Playboys Band back in the day. This is one of my dad's favorite tunes, the Beaumont Rag. And we're going to try a little bit of a harmonized shout chorus, which Dana Scofidio, Berklee College of Music alum, arranged. And so we'll start and end with some unisons and some harmonies. Then for the waltz, we're going to play a klezmer tune, which is actually the first tune I ever transcribed. I recorded a fiddler playing it at a fiddle contest in Crockett, Texas, in the East Texas Piney Woods. And I later found out it was written by Andy Statman, a Brooklyn musician, an Orthodox Jew, as well as a klezmer musician and a mandolinist, clarinetist, fantastic guy. We actually had him at Berklee this past spring and was able to meet him. But Flatbush Waltz, who knew I'd one day move from Texas and be living right off of Flatbush Avenue in Brooklyn, and put two and two together and realize that I'd come full circle. And Dana is going to solo on that. This is the one waltz that we tend to feature Dana on. And then we will finish with a really rollicking breakdown called Say Old Man, Can You Play the Fiddle? And I'm on the brink of being an old man, and yes, by cracky, I can fiddle just a little. All right, so Beaumont Rag?
Beaumont. What are we doing? Oh, we got two more tunes, right? Yeah. Sorry. I thought, oh, that was a great way to end the set.
And now for an even greater way to end the set.
All right.
Dana Scofidio, everybody. Daniel Levy on the acoustic guitar. Dana Scrofiti on the electric guitar. I'm Doc Wallace on the fiddle. We've got another set for you. Before we do that, though, I'm going to invite Patricia Chambers-Daly, the development director of Our Children, to the mic to give you a little more context about Our Children and why we're here tonight. Then we'll take a 10-minute break. There are CDs for sale in the narthex. We are happy to sign them and personalize them after the show. And there will be a 10-minute intermission, but first, please welcome.
I'm not quite as tall. Oh, thank you. Give another round of applause, please, for the Doc Wallace Trio. They're a very hard act to follow. So as you said, I'm Pat Chambers-Daly. I'm the Senior Director of Development. Oh, sure. That better? Can you hear? No? Okay. Can you hear me a bit better? I'm Director of Development for Our Children, and I have with me Dr. Alethea Taylor, who is our Executive Director. And we want to just tell you a little bit about who we are. So Our Children, as was said in the beginning, is we serve incarcerated and formerly incarcerated women and their children. We are in the prisons at Bedford Hills and Taconic. And we have programs up there, including staffing an amazing nursery for women who come into the prison pregnant. They apply to become a part of that nursery, and they get to live in the nursery with their newborn for the first year of that child's life, which makes a huge difference in the raising of that child. And if she is at the end of her sentence, she can go up to 18 months. If not, the baby has to go out to family. But we, as Our Children, make sure that that baby continues to come and visit with their mom. So that is our key, is to make sure children come and see their moms on a regular basis so that that bond between mom and child never dies. We have a program where even we connect the mom to the schools, to the doctors, to family members, to make sure that she is an active part of her child's life throughout that time. Then, when she is coming out, we're part of that reunification. So they come down to Long Island City in Queens, where we have housing, childcare, workforce development, mental health services, food security, and a thrift shop. So we make sure that that woman has everything that she needs to become successful with her child and children and family, and become a part of the community. Because the one thing that we're very proud of is our recidivism rate. Our recidivism rate is under 5%. For the first year that that woman is out, and it stays that way for quite a bit afterwards. And compare that to New York State, which is about 26%. So we really make sure that that woman has all she needs to become successful in the community. I'm going to ask Alethea to say a few more words too.
Sure. Good night. I like the mic. So thank you so much We so appreciate this. This means so much to our kids. It means so much to our community. You know, the thing that I want to leave with you is this. The women that are incarcerated are women that are mothers. And we don't stop parenting when we go to prison or jail. And that's something that I would love for you to take away from this tonight. It's, we are not our wrongs. Many people have served 10 years, 20 years, but what we hope is that they'll come out and they'll get a better life. And the person who went inside prison is not the person who comes out. Why is that? Because that's what our children is there for, to ensure that we help them. Not only are we doing the reunification, but we have parenting classes. And the women teach the women parenting. So we employ some of the women who are incarcerated within the prison. They are our employees as well. And so they're teaching women how to be parents. The other thing that they're doing is they're doing artwork from behind, teaching them about sensitivity, care through art. We started a new program, it's a horticultural program about growing things and how to be patient and caring and loving for plants, mimicking how you're patient, caring, and loving for your children, because it's difficult. Can you imagine being behind bars? There's two beautiful young people here, and having to be a mother to raise these kids. And so you're raising them from behind bars. You have this little beautiful girl. You know, we're raising her behind bars. And so one of the things that we do is we make sure that they're asking about homework. Did you pass your algebra test? And if they don't know how to do algebra, ask the child to explain it to them. And we will help you try to figure out algebra problems. That's how unique and direct that we do, the work that we do to ensure that you are parenting and that you are mothering from behind, and that your child doesn't forget that mommy loves you and that she's going to continue to work hard for you no matter how long she's going to be there. And so those are the things that's important. So what is the one thing we want to take away tonight? That you are what from behind? You're still a parent from behind. Thank you very much. Thank you.
CDs are for sale in the narthex. Enjoy the intermission, and thank you all for coming in this amazing heat.
What? Oh, thank you. Good. It might be coming from outside. You know, there's also the fans. You know. Yeah. Yeah. Hi. Hey, Louise. It's good to see you. Cool. Nice. Very good. Thank you. Well, if you want to, that side. Yeah.
I'm sitting down. I give up. He's got a fan. I do not. Dragging the bow. Cuckoo's nest. In the garden. Coming up.
Okay.
We gotta sit down. Sorry.
Shall we?
I want to hear some Chuck Berry rips on this next one. Yeah. Thank you. That is an old Texas swing tune called Draggin' the Bow. And I learned that from the great Texas swing fiddler Johnny Gimble. Johnny Gimble gave me some good advice for any improviser. Never play it the same way once. That was kind of his motto, and usually that's what he did. So we got a round of tunes for you. We're going to start off with an Irish reel called The Cuckoo's Nest. We will do a beautiful old gospel hymn called In the Garden, featuring Daniel Levy on a solo in the middle. And then we will play one of our favorite ragtime tunes, the Cotton Patch Rag. Daniel Levy. Next, we're going to play a breakdown that goes back to 17th century Scotland. Billy in the Low Ground, a story with a moral. This was, the story that goes with this tune is there was this farmer named Billy who was farming and plowing in the lowland, and he fell in a hole. And the reason he fell in his hole was because he was fiddling and plowing at the same time, but the good thing was he had his fiddle and could fiddle for help, which is what the tune represents. Be careful about multitasking, people. Next, we're going to play a waltz that was written in the early 80s by a New York State fiddler by the name of Jay Unger, who has a fiddle and dance camp upstate called Ashokan. And this is a famous waltz called the Ashokan Farewell, which was the main theme of the Ken Burns documentary, The Civil War, and is featured in several other of his PBS specials as well. And then, for the tune of choice, we're going to play a fun polka from Mexico, the Jesse polka. Original title, Jesucito in Chihuahua.
All right, Billy.
You want to ride, Dana? Let's do it. Thank you again, everybody, for coming out tonight. We got 3 more tunes for you, 1 more round. Kick it off with the mother of all breakdowns, Sally Gooden. This was an old-time tune. You can hear a recording, if you look it up, of a Georgia fiddler, Fiddlin' John Carson, who would play and sing at the same time, kind of a... Well, I had a piece of pie and I had a piece of pudding, and I'd give it all away for to see Sally Gooden. Looked up the road and I seen Sally coming, and I thought to my soul she'd break her neck running. And so on. Old-time fiddling and singing. Something I don't do every day, but I've got friends who do, and it's a worthwhile pastime. Well, there was a Texas fiddler by the name of Eck Robertson who kind of was the grandfather of contest-style fiddling, and he took this simple 2-part tune and made about 13 variations with it. He hopped a train to New York City with a Confederate veteran friend of his. He wasn't a Confederate veteran himself, but they were playing at a Confederate Veterans Convention, and they decided, you know, this was 1922, records had just become a thing. They hopped a train to New York City, walked into Victor Records and said, we want to make a record. And the way the industry was back then, sure, why not? So they cut several records. If you go to the Museum of Country Music in Nashville, exhibit number 1 is a 78 RPM record of Eck Robertson playing Sally Gooden. And he would tell the story that, you know, this was the original fiddle contest tune. There was a beautiful lady named Sally, and 2 fiddlers were vying for her affection. And she decided to marry the best fiddler, whose last name happened to be Gooden. And he said that all the variations represent all the children that they had. So, whole lot of Goodens. The waltz we're going to do is one that Dan said, I don't mind if we substitute something else, but I insisted on doing it because I like hearing him play it. This is on our first record, the Tennessee Waltz, famous heartbreaker country song made famous by Patsy Cline. Gorgeous waltz. And then we're going to finish with a tune that we love to play, another good old New York swing tune, theme song of the Harlem Globetrotters basketball team, the Sweet Georgia Brown. And Dana and I are going to get into a little cutting contest and trade some 4s, so look out. All right, Sally Gooden.
All right, here we go.
Thank you, everybody. Dana Scofidio on the acoustic. Dana Scofidio on the electric. I'm Doc Wallace on the fiddle. Thank you, Church of the Incarnation. Thank you, our children. Have a good night and safe trip home. And thank you, everybody who tuned in online. Enjoy the air conditioning. Thank you.
Thanks for staying. You made it all the way through. You made it.
All right. I think we're good.
Yeah. Hi, come on.
Thank you so much. The work you're doing is so powerful. It's so important.
I've worked up at Bedford Hills a little bit. We tried to start a program with a group called Project Music Heals Us, but the pandemic hit right when we were ready to go in. And
If you want to get it started
night.
again, let us know. We can help you get in.
Okay,
Let me give you my card.
yes, please.
Hey, Alyssa. A little bit of M-Rock.
And I'm a veteran of Sing Sing and Rikers.
Good to see you.
I started a program at Sing Sing through Carnegie Hall, yeah.
I was so
And
glad
it's
to
still
see
going.
that.